This is my lesson plan for my ITEC 7430 class. The objectives of this particular project was to cover the standards of Native American cultures and the impact of European exploration and settlement on the Native American cultures in Georgia. Also to analyze the colonial period of Georgia's history. You can see that the technology standards have also all been covered. It was an authentic task in that you can read it there. It says your team of educators will be presenting a mini lesson on your topic. It must include a Google presentation, note-taking sheet, teacher-approved quiz, and engage the class in some way. You must cover all content using your textbook and the internet. I also provided students with the georgiastandards.org teacher notes for their topic. There were 3 tools that the students had to use. They had to use, all 3 were from Google Drive. They had to use Google Drive Form, Presentation, and Documents. Students had to create, here's an example of a form. They had to create their quiz using Google Form. This particular group had these questions. They chose to do multiple choice. They had to create a presentation. This particular group had a simple topic. Theirs was just on the European trade, the triangular trade, slave trade, the discovery of the Americas. That was their particular topic they had to cover. Then they had to create some type of matching tool or some type of study tool for the class. So this particular one, it was matching. They they had the words on the questions on the left and the answers on the right. So the way it would work is that they would do their presentation, and while they were presenting, they would give them these notes, the sheet to cover, and then they would give their quiz at the end or the next day. Differentiation, I based it on the ability of the student is how they receive their topics. More complex topics were given to the higher ability students, whereas the less complex would get theirs given to them, to the lower level students. Differentiation in the process was with students being given the flexibility and freedom to make the products as difficult or as simple as they wanted. The goal was to achieve the highest score of a 4 on the rubric. They had to have, on the teacher-approved quiz, an average class. Well, the class average had to be 90%. They were given opportunities as far as extensions and enrichment. They were given the opportunity to add video links to their presentations, create a video of their own, and there was no need for assistive technology, though. Communication collaboration. I was able to provide feedback and reinforce using the chat on Google Drive. I also served as a facilitator. I would go around the room while they were working, making sure they were on task, obviously. Students worked in cooperative groups, making decisions about objectives, goals, and the role members of the group would take. For example, how many questions would the quiz have and how many would each member design? Okay, because all the products had to incorporate everybody. Technology was a critical part of the project, and it allowed for authenticity in an educator's life as well as the business world. Students communicated and collaborated through Google Drive, sharing and chatting within the drive. Equitable access. Students had access to laptops and desktops to complete all components of the project. There was the rubric. As you can see, the rubric covered content, Google presentation, and that was a lot of technology. Note-taking tool, teaching effectiveness. This is where I was talking about that they had to have 90% or higher. And then, of course, grammar and spelling were essential. The test was one that was mandated by the department. So this is what their unit tests look like. Challenges, I would say that student challenges and reflection. The students had more of a deeper appreciation for a teacher's job. I would say I feel it was effective because the test average was 80.3% and the project average was 88%. Students did demonstrate a great understanding for the content as well as use of the Google Drive through collaboration. All students were active throughout the process. One challenge was during the presentations and students sometimes didn't respect the other students as they were teaching. So I had to redirect them and remind them that how important it was that they took it seriously and achieved on the quiz, because it would impact their grade. And ultimately, they would have to do that. I would say, from a teacher's perspective, one thing that I would make sure is that I planned everything and that the students had familiarity with Google Drive. So that's my project.